will start to introduce myself. Actually, I'm in Ecuador. Actually, I'm finishing this master degree program in the UniPD, and this have a local action and a local value for me. And I will start only to show in this first next slide. It is thinking globally and acting locally. The plastic pollution is a globally issue that is affecting all the ocean and also the coast countries and also the insular countries. For me, as a part of this master's program, it's always important to think all the global situations and try to create climate action in locals. The next one, please. To start with this research, we must understand how the impact is of the global contamination and what are the efforts in the international field to create and to generate alternatives of development. The plastic global situation is a crisis now because the planetary boundaries are rising. And if we don't keep this 1.5 alive to the 2030, it will be a really complex situation to recover all the damage that we have in the climate and also in the human health. The plastic pollution is a matter of waste management, because even when the population increase in all the global now and in the global, also in the north and in the south, we create a circle of production and also for consumption. This phenomenon also affects the oceans in the way of that we are creating a kind of patch of global waste island of plastics. This is one of the main points that really motivated me to study the affections of Ecuador, even when Ecuador have also insular territories as the Galapagos, how these big patches of plastic could affect the south of the country, I mean. In a really special moment that we have with the main stakeholders here in Ecuador, we create a really useful forum to ask to these main stakeholders what are the most important topics that must to be taken into account in this new legal, international legal agreement. They all agree that the situation in the globally of the plastic pollution is really strong, but one of the main aspects that they could present in this summary is to create a really good mechanism of waste management that could improve the health of all the chain in this process, because we have the consumers, we have the productive, and also we have the labor force that is working in this chain. The next one, please. We have also this situation of deficient waste management and overproduction of plastic products with additives. The three main international agreements of contamination products that are Basilea, Stockholm, and Rotterdam with chemical additives say that the production and the waste management are the key activities that we must to enforce in the public sector and also in the private sector to have a better situation in the future. You can see a really simple scheme of how the water movement affects this big patch of plastic pollution. We can now, through the limitations that we have, even with the observation of these big dynamic masses of plastics, we can notice that in the north part of the Pacific is creating a really big patch of plastic that is affecting the nearest coast of the US. Then we have a permanent influence of the marine aeolic movements that are capturing all the last 3 minutes. Thank you very much. The next one, I could say that in Ecuador, the most important thing that we in this research was important to notice is about the eco design that is promoting in this new law that we have. And the baseline of 2019 show us that in Ecuador, only the 6% of the garbage is effectively recycling. Next one, please. Next one. As you can notice, here is the situation, the baseline. And in the last one, the red one container has the contamination of the productive plastic products that ends in the water. The 5% of the plastic pollution products ends in the water, in the ocean, or in the corpus of water. Next one, please. What are we going to do now? Even when this is a matter of local authorities, because the garbage and the design of the waste management must to be generated in the local community and in local level, we are trying to generate a power balance actions. The next one, please. Taking in account that the international agreement is participated mainly by the government, we have several stakeholders that are participating, and we cross different alternatives of different variables about the empowerment. If the empowerment is centralized in the government, it depends also of the participation that the government makes in the main international spaces. But also we have industry, and also we have the plastic corporation that are working in this part. This is a correlation data that we start to do it. The next one, please, and the last. This is the main power mapping stakeholder that we have. And now in this NCT, that is International Negotiation Committee, was celebrated in Paris, the main stakeholder was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But the next one is going to take place in Nairobi. We're going to have more technical and specific and scientific stakeholder that must to be in the core of the process. The next one, please. What coming next? Now, it's important to say that the international legal agreement is not, or it's supposed to be not a failed solution, because even when the specific negotiation topics must to separate types of products that legally will be forbidden to produce and also to transport, there are all others that we must to be excluded. For example, the medical plastic products, and also for the agriculture plastic products. Then we also have climate action, where we must to be really aware of the fake solutions that this strategy and the next strategies want to take in force, and also people, because all the recycled force or the labor force in this chain must to be taken into account and also called in dignity. This last photo is from yesterday of the Ministry of Government, the Ministry of Environment, giving the certification to this 31st recycled labor force as educative recognition of their effort. Thank you very much.